Hello people, welcome back to the podcast. Now we have an absolute belter in store. I've got Dale and James on. I'm talking as if they're not sitting right here watching me doing this intro. But I've had an influx of personal trainers following me over the last month, and I just wanted to put out a wee podcast about our stories. It's not really too preachy, but it's some really good advice for people starting out, because I think all three of us want more good personal trainers out there. It's not a competition with anyone. Like, the more better personal trainers there is, like, just the better the whole industry will go, because of how, like, maybe tarnished it's been in the past. So I think it'll be helpful for anyone in their journey with PTing. I have nothing really to promote, so I just enjoy the show. You do.
Oh, right.
You do like to go like this. So
no, it's not even that. He'll start playing with the camera. Did you see the other day? he had to phone his insurance because he crashed his car. He bumped into somebody, which is probably a funny story.
I've still not done it.
Anyway, so he's like,
you still not crashed it. That's in the future.
I've still not sorted the insurance.
When you're going to do that, you're probably estimating it's going to take about an hour, isn't it? You'd probably think that.
To do what?
Just phone up the insurance and do all this sort of stuff.
I don't do stuff like that.
You're damn mate. That's how I've still not done it.
He done it.
Father.
He done it 5 minutes before we had Richard done. And I was like, you're not going to sort that out in 5 minutes. Anyway, I'm like...
You're already fucking playing with that water ball, man. You're fucking ridiculous. Aye, fuck it.
Let's go.
So I went to walk through into the gym and I was like, why is my iPhone charger lying in the middle of the hall? And he's like, oh, that was me.
I took it was on my phone, I just sat it in and I just left it.
You leave everything.
I know, I do.
You're quite bad for it. But what's the thing with insurance though?
So, I just crashed at the back of somebody. But I didn't crash, it was like a wee tip. And she was like, got before.
You fiddling with something?
I was genuinely wasn't. So it was, I say when we had Richard on, he was like, take ownership. I was like, mate, it was genuinely her fault, but obviously I went at the back here.
So are you paying for it? Nah, it sounds like your fault.
No, I've got to take responsibility. But so we went, stopped behind each other. I looked right. She's obviously looked right. I've looked right again. Nothing there. She's braked. And I've hit her in the back. I'm like, you're joking me, man. And then she stopped. She put the hazard on for ages. And I'm like, right, go around the corner. I'm like, go around. And one of the women gets out the motor. She says, do you want me to go around the corner? Oh, duh. Duh.
Is that what you said?
This is what
you beat the horn as well. Duh.
This is what I was saying in my head. I'm like, right. So I'm calm because I'm like, well, I've hit her. That is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm getting more stoic as the days go on. So we go around the corner and we stop. And she's driving around the corner at 50 mile an hour, like a back-ended and wrote off her motor. Hope she doesn't see us, by the way. By the time I will have sent my insurance details over there. So, stop, and I'm like, well, I'm also going to be a nice guy. I'm like, you alright? I hope you're not shook up.
That's what I'd be playing. I'd be like, oh.
I said that. I absolutely would as well.
And I was just like, he's alright. She's like, we're alright. I'm like, you fucking obviously are. I fucking tapped you in the back.
Was it 5 miles an hour?
It was 5 or 10 miles an hour, and there was nothing near that because we were only coming out of a junction. We'd already stopped before it and then went to go. And we looked at it, it was a wee scrape on a wee side of the bumper. And the other one was like, I'll cut it. I'm like, fucking great. And I hopefully my dad doesn't listen to this, but I'll tell it right.
No,
hopefully the
tell
police don't listen to this. No, my dad, the police. So, or my insurance company, right? Admiral, any cunt for Admiral, shut the fuck up, right?
Polis means police,
right?
For any non-Scottish people.
So I've got some points on my license.
No. We know somebody. Let's go down this route. We're not talking about you in this
someone
scenario.
who isn't me, right? I know who's got points. Someone Derek. Who isn't me, right? So Dave, right? After Dave hit this guy, right? He's got 6 points, but Dave hasn't told his insurance about his 6 points. So
Dave can get cheaper insurance.
Yeah, so Dave doesn't need to pay 6 point insurance.
Dave is fraudulent.
Dave sounds like a dodgy bastard.
Dave is a dodgy bastard. But Dave knows someone called Steve who's done this before. And Steve
sounds like an even more dodgy bastard.
It'll be okay. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I was shiting myself. No, Dave was shiting himself. Was it Dave?
Aye, Dave.
Right, Dave was shiting himself.
Yeah, can you not keep this up? Like, brain's breaking.
Right, so Dave gets the woman's details and Dave's like, I'll go and check my insurance. And Dave's told her to go to the garage. and she phoned Dave and says it's going to be £400 for a fucking scrape.
That's mate. Everything's ridiculously expensive now.
Scrape. So Dave just said, just go through insurance, and I was like, but Dave was like, oh shite, Dave's got 6 points in his license.
So now that you go for your insurance, it's gonna that's gonna come up.
Nah. Steve says it won't.
Because Steve's done this before. And
who's Steve?
Well, I can tell you, Alan is learning a lot.
Alan, good. But actually, Dave met somebody in GID and was speaking about it to them, and I was like, Dave's like, I've done this, and she's like, oh, don't worry, I've done the same. And they just
preference like Steve didn't do it on purpose as well. This was just I honestly think
she did.
Two different entities, mate.
Aye,
so you're overcomplicating it.
Aye, good.
What's the worst that can happen?
No, actually, I read it up and it's not even illegal to do it.
Steve said.
Steve says, nah, it's not illegal to do it. For some reason, I don't know how that's not illegal.
Do you know what I thought? I was at because obviously I've not planned this podcast at all, because I would hope the three of us can have a conversation. But I was thinking before I came in here, which is a random segue, I've been trying to save a bit of money recently.
Right.
So I've been getting less haircuts.
Oh my God, I thought that.
Did you?
I thought that. Did you think that?
I didn't think that.
That's why he's wearing the hat, innit?
James, you get what were you haircut schedule wise? What was it, weekly?
Once every 10, 14 days.
Aye.
But now I'm about once every 5 weeks. But do you know what I also noticed when I was in my room today? I was like, I have 5 hats. These are all 30 quid. It's just more expensive than my haircuts. And I've been wearing them because I've not been getting a haircut.
You should get the beer ones. Shout out the beer. Brian's there, like, whatever.
I can just pick them up. I don't even tell them.
Nice.
Take one of his hoodies as well that's just sitting there.
I know, they've been sitting there for a wee while, to be fair.
So why are you doing that?
I'm just trying to save money, but I realise I'm maybe having an addiction to buying stuff. I went on eBay the other day. I've got 100. I'm watching 100 old football shirts.
Oh, really?
100.
Man, that's weird.
That is a bit weird.
And this has happened over the last week, and I've not even really noticed I've been doing it. But I've been sitting every night looking at old football tops.
Why?
I think it's a dopamine hit I'm looking for.
You will be looking for something. See, that's the one hit we'll never understand anything like that.
But knowing you over the last couple of months, like being in here, you're not a materialistic guy. So what the fuck what is it like?
He loves football though.
I know you like football, but even if you're spending money on football tops, what else? Can't be that much an addiction.
Nah, I'm not. So for the last 2 or 3 years, I've not saved any of the money I've made. I'll kind of just. I think my brain automatically just tries to spend the money I make.
That's what people do though.
Yeah, no, but I'm trying to control that, mate. So I want to actually like live my life and not live my dad.
That would be a good idea.
So I think I've been doing it from that, and also because I've been dieting, so I'm not getting my dopamine hit from food, and I think I'm searching for it through old football shirts. You're
always searching for dopamine, though. That's what I find. No matter what you're doing, you'll be searching for it somewhere. So try and find it.
Have you ever tried to break your phone addiction?
It's very hard. Very hard.
Have you ever tried?
We're trying a couple of different things, me and Jillian, because we're sitting in bed at night and it's got to that point where we're just scrolling, we're showing each other TikToks, and I was like, this is fucking sad. I was like, let's make a rule where we don't bring our phones into the bedroom. And it's not that it's hard, it's just like you find the urge to do something, and it's all routine, mate. That's really what it comes down to. To see with your dieting side of things, I don't need to eat something after I've had my dinner. I'm physically not hungry, but see, because I've trained my body to continue to reach for whatever's in the fridge.
It's habit more than actually
a biscuit or whatever. And see, I've said to myself, like, you go into a cut and you go, right, okay, I'm restricting my calories, so I'll cut out the additional snacks at night or whatever it is. And the cutting out, it's not that I'm hungry, it's just the routine that reaching for that. And I'm like, oh, what is this weird feeling? And you're like, oh my God. And I'm holding 4 baby bells. Like, I don't fucking need these.
See, I don't eat any less frequently when I'm dieting. I just eat like less calorie food. That's why you see the massive cucumber in there. I honestly can't go an hour without putting some in my mouth.
An hour?
Nah, I don't think I can. See, in between, like, I'll talk to like 4 clients, and then I'll just go pick something up, and it'll be anything, and then I'll make hot chocolate, then I'll make a decaf coffee, then I'll nearly piss myself.
Have you read Atomic Habits?
So you've trained your body that way. So your body's like, looking for it. Like you're like a
No
smoker.
hungry. It's just
Needs to.
that's when people say listen to your body. Well, your body's fucking probably telling you to do something that probably shouldn't. It's just because you've told it to do it for that long.
And by the way, you just went for like that's where you seen the cucumber, and then you followed that up with saying, "I need to put something in my mouth."
I know. I was thinking that.
Aye, and then I stick
As
up
long as
Mars.
it's your ass. Aye.
No, it goes in my mouth after Mars.
I love that, man.
Routine's
Tasty.
interesting because it does like it's hard to change.
I'm realizing I think everything I do, I'm searching for dopamine. I think when I post on social media, I sit and refresh. I think the reason I do quite well on social media is because I'm driven so much by the dopamine.
I'm the same.
So even when I'm making the content, I wanted to do better so I can sit and get the dopamine hit after.
Yeah.
I think it's a realization I'm having recently that that's why I struggle with saving the money as well. Because there's no dopamine in having more money in your account, like sitting there. But there's dopamine in spending it.
Aye, absolutely.
And I'm not even like a shopaholic, like you said. I'm not materialistic at all, but I'll even buy more in Lidl, like wee tiny things, and that all amounts up.
Yeah, I don't know if it probably is tied to the dopamine hit, but I honestly think it's just your routine of you're regularly doing that. Because I think the hardest thing with us being on social media is we're constantly on our phones and we're constantly looking at the likes, the stats, and all that sort of stuff. And you're in that routine of checking all the time. And I find myself, like, I swipe away from Instagram to do, I don't know, something else on another app. And I find myself going back to Instagram and checking the same post. And I'm like, what the fuck why am I doing here? You never had that brain fart where you're on your phone and you're looking at it. You're like, right, I need to do this. Or maybe I'm replying to a client. And then I swipe up and I go to Instagram and I'm like, how the fuck?
I live my full day like this, mate. Yeah. This isn't just like do you ever have this? I was like, this is my full day.
No, I know.
Forgetting what I'm meant to be doing and then refreshing my last post.
Yeah.
So, see, this is what I see in the morning, like right now. I'll delete Instagram just before I go to bed. And I'll only download it when I feel like my brain's refreshed and no like want to go on Instagram for that wee hit. Because you feel that wee hit, you're like, if I go on Instagram right now, there'll be a couple extra comments, a couple extra messages that I can reply to, and you'll go, right, if I go on right now, I'll get that. So if you set your brain like, look, give yourself an hour, and then it goes away, and then you go on Instagram and you don't get the same hit because you're not searching for it. Do you know what I mean?
I never get to any of these stages.
Oh, you should. So wake up in the morning and don't go on Instagram until like 10 in the morning.
I go on Instagram within about 15 seconds of waking up.
Don't. Terrible idea.
No, I know it's terrible.
It's really bad. It's actually really bad for your brain.
I'm well aware. There's a few things I need to stop doing. I need to stop because I'll be on Instagram within 15 seconds and then I'll have a coffee within about 4 minutes of waking up.
That's been the hardest thing that I've changed, not having coffee.
And by the way, I wasn't as bad as this like a year ago. I've just really fucking let myself go.
That's because you've been working a lot though.
Yeah.
That's because you've been putting your focus onto other things. You need to start putting your focus on yourself.
But you check your phone once and you're like, it's all right. And you check it again, and you check it again. Before you know it, you've got a habit built around checking it first thing when you wake up.
I had Oppo on my phone for a while.
Yeah, that's what I was telling him to do.
And I paid for it as well. But now all my brain does is as soon as I wake up, I give myself a break instantly. Instantly. Mate,
that's what I would do. I think these apps are, see if you're genuinely addicted to your phone, I think they're fucking pointless.
They don't do it. But you can get one, like I think I can make Oppo, make it so I actually can't go on it. Like I can't even give myself a break or anything. But there was a guy, when I made all those the stop and drinking videos, and there was a guy called the Sober Coach that followed me, right? And I think he's massive. Like he's got like 500,000 followers or whatever. And I think he's well known in America of like getting people to stop drinking. And he found all of these posts that I'd done and he started calling me on Instagram. And I was just on the phone in the garage I was in Australia to this American like sober coach, and he was like in a hotel room. He'd been paid like fucking whatever, like 20 grand to go sort out this alcoholic. Like the whole family had paid for him like an intervention. So he gets flown around the country as like a last chance saloon.
A fucking whore.
This is like your last chance. We've paid for this big dog sober coach to come in and he like maybe spends a week. It's more like a retreat or something that he does. But he was on the phone to me, mate. Everything he was saying was so interesting, but I had to call him back 4 times because Opal kept on giving me a break on it. I'm like, sorry, mate, my app's just.
That's what I was going to say. What happens in an emergency if you've got it locked for a set amount of time?
And that's all I needed to hear to not do it, James.
That is an issue though.
But it's the simple way you break it, because you think, what are you saying to your client, right? What are you saying to your client who constantly snacks? It's like, okay, what is it you're doing? I'll have a whole bag of Doritos, right? It's not saying you can't have it. It's putting a barrier in place, so you just need to drive to the shops to have it. So with your phone in the morning, put it in the hole.
I know, but driving to the shops is so much harder than just clicking 3 times to give myself a break.
I'm not saying like the barrier with that obviously doesn't work for you, but put it in the hole, put it in the next room.
I need to get one of those wee boxes.
You lock your phone at.
I'm going to get one of them. Because I was class, my screen time was 90 minutes a day when I was in Australia.
What are your screen times? Let's have a look. Let's compare.
No, don't do that.
No, come on, let's do it.
Mine's probably more than yours, mate, by the sounds of it.
Screen time.
90 minutes? What?
Because we edit on our phones as well.
That's true.
Where'd you find it? Screen time settings?
Just type in screen time, aye.
No, I don't really want to do that. Mine's won't be that.
Daily average, what is it?
Well, it's saying 3 hours 37 for just now, but that's because it's counting today. That's like my weekly average for this week, so it's higher.
That's not that much.
Yeah, but it's because it's counting today, so that's bringing it down.
Oh, so's mine.
Mine's just 5 hours and 45 minutes, mate.
Mine's is 4 hours and 9, but that Wednesday I was 7 hours and 4.
And yous were giving me advice. Get it right round yous. I'm the fuck.
I don't have a problem.
First thing in the morning is the worst time to go on your phone in general.
But then you just go on.
So click on it, right? Go to see all activity and go to, what does it say? Total screen time for the week so far.
19 hours 27 minutes.
Right, so mine's is 28. What's your social? What's the social part?
8 hours 58.
Creativity.
2 hours 50.
So mine's is like 6 hours 43. Because I do all my editing on this. You do a wee bit on your computer, don't you?
Yeah.
Productivity and finance. Mad.
Right. Next thing I want to ask you about, because I got an influx of PTs following me from that Ben Carpenter thing. It was like all PTs because it was like me talking about the shape I'm in as a PT.
Are we starting up our mentorship? Is this what this is?
Aye, this is the launch.
Let's do that.
Mate, I need to start making money. I fucking milk these coaches for all they're worth. I would speak more about what we've learned from maybe all of the stuff we've done in terms of like mentorships. You'd be the one that's
fucking mentorship daft there here
posted that's went to the most, but where do you see the actual value in doing something like that? I want to maybe speak about like what the first year as a PT would look like as well, because what's the stats are terrifying, isn't it?
Yeah,
80% of PTs fail, and I think that's like that's what it's not like 95% the diets fail. How that's kind of a bit of a fallacy, because what constitutes a diet. But if I think about all the people I know that started PTing, I would say 80% might even be lower.
Not enough. I think it's quite complex to get into, because it can be for a wide variety of reasons. I think depending on the person that's getting into it, what is the reasons why they got into it. And I think people think it's a nice, easy luxury job. Oh, how much are you charging per hour? 35, 40, 45 quid? Yeah, cool, let's do it. I can do that, easy peasy. Then you realise it's not just sets, reps and weights and exercises. There's more to it. So, I don't know. What's your question like in terms of like, what's the first year look like? And why do you think so many people
What
fail?
did your first year look like, and why do you think it, like, because it went quite well for you in the first year. Why do you think that is?
My first year, I think I'm maybe one of the anomalies coming into the space, because I had 8-9 years of corporate leadership experience. And in the corporate world, you're going on these courses. So I'm going to the equivalent of a mastermind for all the senior managers of the business. And you're learning how to communicate to your team, lead your team, behavioural stuff, accountability stuff. So it's all kind of the same traits that carry over nicely into being a personal trainer, because being a leader in a corporate business or being a manager, managers point and tell, leaders lead from the front. So you're like pulling people into and you're learning all that craft. And I was genuinely really interested in that until I got to a point where I was like, I really don't care about lines and broadbands anymore. I want to actually help people look beyond the fucking how much fucking faults did we fix in this area. So me getting into it, I had that experience, and that's why when I came into it, I hit the ground running, and I was sort of just trialing and erroring. Like, I'm going to take all of that experience and apply it. And bear in mind, I'm listening to Jordan Syatt, I'm listening to Mind Pump, I'm listening to Mike Mckinney, I'm listening to Jason Phillips. So I'm listening to like the big time players in the field for 5 years. So what was I saying the other day? It was like 200 or 400 odd podcast episodes I'd found some of these guys, and they're up at 2000s. So every single day traveling to and from work, I'm listening to this sort of stuff.
I mean, I used to listen to watch all of Mike Vicanti's YouTube videos, who's the guy who trained Gary Vee before Jordan Syatt. I watched them before I started going to the gym.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, so I knew how his online coaching business worked before I even like wanted to go to the gym, because I used to watch him for like to take inspiration for when I was doing freestyle, like how to brand yourself and all that. So yeah, I was the same. I listened to all of those how to be a personal trainer podcasts, every single one. Yeah, so that would have been my equivalent of Mind Pump.
But no, it was the same one. So I'm listening to that as well, because Jordan Syatt came on the show. Anyway, so this is like 7 years of education, and it's not like I just follow a bodybuilding split and I'm like, oh right, I can now train people. It's like I'm listening to people who've trained average people, and they're like, by the way, it's not as simple as a bodybuilding split. And then at the same time, I've done powerlifting programs at this point, bodybuilding programs, full body programs. And then when I done the full body, I was like, wow, there's fucking less is more. Anyway, come into it, and fortunately enough, hit the ground running in a gym that, theoretically speaking, know that there wasn't much competition, but there was only like 3 or 4 other PTs at the time, and it was a small box gym. So theoretically, if you're a new PT, the smarter strategy is to go into a bigger box gym. That's what I would say now. But I guess all odds should have been against me going into that. But they had a good community, good, kind of gelled well with the guy that came in and managed to hit the ground running with the appetite of clientele that's in there. Just because my strategy was always, if I can look busy, people want to work with me. And if I'm always here, people go, he's fucking hard working. I want to work with it. I don't want to work with a guy that I never see clients with. I want to work with a guy that's always here. And we spoke about this before. Like, we're friendly people. So every single person that walked through that door of Gym 24, I would do my best, make eye contact. How's it going? You know, that's the type of person I'm in.
Eye context.
Eye context, looking into their soul. You know, and this was never to get clients. I think that's
these eyes are
a
blue.
Mistake. It's a mistake people make. But yeah, I get really fortunate with that. But I say fortunate in the sense that I wanted to do that at a younger age, and I'm kind of glad. I wish I did, and then I wish I don't, because of that experience I got. And then over to your experience, so this is where we're a wee bit different, but this is why we probably gelled. Like, you didn't go to masterminds or anything. You signed up to Phil Graham's.
I signed up. But I never had a coach ever. I never watched any like people who told you how to be a PT, how they coach people. I'd never done any of that. I just started strength training. I wanted to be stronger for a change when I got back in, and I was like, I love this. This is so much fucking better. Mentally, I'm like, this is the way to go.
What did you do for work and stuff before? Like, what's your life look like up until? Because what I take from you is a lot of what, like, all of my skills that transferred over into being a PT weren't deliberate. They just happened to, like, but I already built my own personal brand before on Instagram, and I already had decent chat from bartending. Genuinely, that was all my. When I used to train clients, I would say stuff and go, I used to make that joke bartending, and that would be like all my life skills came from that. But what did yours look like? What did you do before PTing?
So I started off as a mechanical engineer
in uni.
No. So I went and done an apprenticeship. So 4-year apprenticeship, and I done it for 1 year. And so I'm going to therapy. So right now, like, so obviously,
I know Paul as well, because if anyone that's listened to this will know the name Paul. Right. He was also the producer, so everyone knows he's my therapist. So
obviously, like, I've been doing a lot of reflecting, and if you asked me this probably 2 months ago, my answer probably would have been different. But I can now look on the last 10 years of my life and going, oh, that's how I actually planned it, and that's how I ended up here. And I can be a little bit easier on myself of where I'm at. but I know where I'm going to go forward is a lot better. So I started off as an apprentice because I hated school. That's no job I wanted to do. Fucking hated every minute. And but it's a job where you need to do your job well, or the place isn't, this big multi-million-pound place isn't going to run. Do you know what I mean? So you need to be on the ball. You need to have checklists.
Who was the company?
So it was I done. Do you know DL Steelworks in Motherwell?
Oh yeah,
See the big tall tower?
Yeah,
So it started in there, and then Valorec. So
I know what that is as well. One of my friends used to work in there.
Oh, who?
Stephen Fisher.
Oh, aye, I know Stephen. Aye.
I went to school with him.
Right. So that kind of job, you need to plan out things. So like I can look at it and go like, I had a planning background, and then fucking my life went whoop. So I went to the plumbing with my stepdad, who alcoholics, etc. 4 months in, never showed up. I was unemployed. I had nothing. So this is when.
What age are you?
22. Okay. Is it 22?
I don't know any of this.
21, right? I know not a lot of people do. So, because it was Stuart was on our podcast and he spoke about the brew, and I was like, "Fuck, man!"
I've been on that as well.
I've been on the brew, so that hit, and I was like,
"I had to go to." That's a fucking that'll make you fuck up your ideas. By the way.
that this is the point in my life where everything changed. I was taking drugs. I was fucking doing all this shit, and I was unemployed as fuck. I had no money, not one bit of savings, and I was living with somebody who I really didn't like, and I was like, this is fucking terrible. I was like, I need to go to this right now, like right now. I think I was unemployed for 7 weeks, but I'd found wee jobs, like somebody was like, you can do this for a day, you can do this for a day. I was like, cool. Any job you could do, I was taking it. It was like unloading lorries, all that shit. And then I went and got the brew. They gave me 250 quid for the month. I was like, nah, fuck this. How can people do this? And got to the job centre was the terrible part. You needed to go every single week. And
that's the worst part.
And you needed to show them what you were applying for.
Applied for this job, I swear.
And I was like, right, and they're like, have you not applied for any other jobs? I was like, no, because I want this.
They tried to get me to. I'd worked in Tunnocks and Lee's in Coatbridge, which is basically just factories, like packing like food. It would just be me and like 8 Polish people, like packing.
No, that's
food, and like no one would speak English. But then I ran out of work with that, and I'm like 19. Do you know they tried to get me to work in a warehouse for free, like volunteering work to gain experience, and the only thing I had experience in. All I could do was pack tea cakes.
Aye.
I was like, at least fucking customer service or something, give me experience in something else for free.
Mate, honestly.
And they were like raging at me. I was like, are you fucking fit?
I'm not doing this for fuck all.
I'll get, like,
give me a fiver.
It makes less sense.
Aye. So, like, genuinely.
Give me a fiver.
At that point in my life, I was like, what? Is this it? Is this it, man? I was like, well, there must be more to this. And I done jobs in a place just down the road, and it was like packing all the whiskey and all that, or putting the caps on.
Those jobs, mate, are terrible. Oh, so bad.
Hard work, mate.
Oh.
You're grafting your tits off for £10 an hour. Like, fair fuck. I'm not. And this is where I say to everybody, if you can't get a job, you're lying. Because these jobs are there. They'll text you saying, be there for that time. Cool. I mean, it's no nice, and it's degrading a wee bit, but there's jobs, and it will pay you. And they'll pay you on time, and they'll pay you the money that they say. They're not going to fuck you. So see anybody, honestly, see people that tell me, I can't get a job, you're fucking at it. Because I went and got a job all the time. I got 250 quid after the brew. And then my dad met somebody and said, they're looking for work. I was like, right, I'll be there. Went, and I get put on the shitey job straight away. Basically, there was a packer, and it would like, so you would put 2 tubs of paper rolls on top of each other. It would wrap it, and you would put them on a pallet. I'd done this for like 2 years. Done it for about a month straight. And then obviously they'd heard me talking, and they're like, this guy's a bit too intelligent to be doing this. But mate, I'd went down to here. So I'm humble as fuck, because I've been, when you start as an apprentice, you get the piss took at you, but you're younger. To go back to that again, right? I was like, fucking hell. None of this was my fault at this point. So
take responsibility, mate.
No, none of this was my fault at this point. Like, everything that happened was external.
Out with your control.
External stuff. So then started working in there and got to the better job, but never really, you don't get paid any more in a warehouse no matter where you work. It's just a better job. It's just no a shite. It's just no a shite job.
I loved getting put on like the pallets.
Aye,
like taking them away. That was my favourite job.
Mate.
They go, you're on the pallets today. And I was like, can I be on this all week? And they're like, do you want to be the pallet man? I was like, aye.
Aye.
I'm the pallet man.
It's fucking, there's some jobs in the warehouse you're like, this is actually
because I basically didn't have to be on a time schedule when they done that. They just went like, as long as these get put up the top once they're packed. So I would just wait on them being packed and then go on my phone. Oh, this is class.
Aye.
£8 an hour, thank you.
I get like, I think I was 10.80 or something. Do you know what I mean? Maybe 11 quid by one point.
Oh.
So
Minted. That's a good wage.
So I'm staying with my dad at this point, and then I worked there for like 2.5. So I worked there until obviously COVID hit, and then we get furloughed, and we kept going walks, and I was like, this is a shite life. This is a shite life. I hate this. Do you know what I mean? I had no savings by this point. I'm like, I'm only seeing fuck all in front of me. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't, so I stopped, obviously the gym's shut. I wasn't even enjoying the gym before because I wasn't enjoying anything. And then my Chinese had shut that I used to always go to. And I was like, you know what, I'm going to get a delivery job. So I went, wrote my name and number on all this piece of paper, and I went round 40 Chinese and Indians locally. And I put it through that one, and I got a few back, and I was doing shitey jobs, and I was maybe making 50 quid in 7 hours sometimes in these shitey places, right? And then the Chinese that I went to says, we can give you a Friday. I was like, no bother. And then he put me in the group chat, and by the way, you want a Sunday? I was like, cool, so 2 in the one day. So I go in for the first Friday shift. It's only open 3 days because it was shut for 6 weeks. And I'm like, this is going to be busy. So me and my girlfriend at the time were doing it together. So we're going to help each other.
Relationship goals.
So I'll be fair, see, at this point in my life, she helped me out big time. Like, she would start the shift early for me, and I would go straight for my shift, like, once I started back work. So what would happen, mate, it was the busiest shift ever, and I made £190 in the first day.
Right.
In one night. Right, 6 hours work. And I was like, that's class. Done it Sunday, same again, and it was deliveries only. And it was deliveries only.
Mental work can seem class to him because of what he had before.
No, you should talking about that like it is. Like, my
it's like perspective in it.
Very easy job though, mate. Like, see, once you know the numbers, see, once you know all the streets, no thinking.
Nice.
There's no mental stress. You just get in your car, you pick up the deliveries, and you go. And I was making about $2,000 a month for the Chinese, right? Then and then I got an extra day. And then I got so I had 4 days a week. And then I go back to my normal job, which is 50 hours a week. And I had 5 days by this point, and I kept all 5 days. And I done 50 hours a week. I done that for 3 months, and then I got cut down to 3 days. So by this point, I'm working like 70 odd hours. And then I'm quitting this job. Once I quit, I've not been to the gym in well over a year by this point. Right, not gymmed at all. I was like, fuck it, I had no time. I was working 78 hours every single week. By this point, probably saved up about 25 grand
from the Chinese.
Aye.
No.
So it's like fucking. I'm fucking balling. COVID's coming to an end. I still haven't been back to the gym. I didn't go to the gym when it opened for a wee bit. I never went to the gym. I was like, fuck the gym. I don't even fucking want to go back to the gym. I was in such a fucking weird place in my head, but I saved all this money. So hang me ends, me and my girlfriend at the time were like, this isn't going to work. So we split up, and I'm going to do just eating the Chinese. So I'm doing just eating the Chinese, but I'm taking it easy at this point. I'm going doing some self-development.
I'm minted.
Right? This is fucking easy. Gas. And then I start getting back into the gym. You split with your girlfriend, you're like, I'm going to get fucking jacked. But I'm watching different people on YouTube at this point. Like, I'm watching strength athletes, and I'm like, I want to do that. And I remember going to some of my mates, and they're like, oh, I can't believe you can't even lift this. And I was like, I'll lift more than you. And that just sparked me, and I was like, I'll lift more than you. And see that, like, I blew past them and more. And it's not even, I don't even think about that anymore, but at the time, that was like the motivation. I'm going to go in the gym, and I'm going to lift more than you in a year. And you have been got to the gym the full time. That was just, I don't know why, just pure ego driven.
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then it got to a point where I was like, I've caught up with him already. I was like, this new style of training is working. I was like, I'm going to be a PT. And obviously at the time you're like, right, I'm just going to get people jacked, get people six packs. And this PT course takes so long, but I've got a camera at this time, so I'm making random bits of content. So I'm getting like hanging in front of the camera. and then get my PT qualification. Next day, I message people like, oh, I start here. Gym 24, like, come up to see us. I was like, we walked in, and they're like, you need to do hours. I'm like, I don't really want to do hours. Straight away, I knew I didn't want to do hours, but I'm like, cool, go in. But by this point, my life's been...
How old are you at this point?
25.
That's when I started.
25, aye. So I'm 25 by this point. But see, by that point, my life there was no stress. So I hadn't been showing stress yet for a wee while. So by the time I start in a gym where you're doing all the hours, you're trying to get clients, you're building your business. So I hadn't watched any of these business people. So I had no idea how to run it.
We had a massive advantage, didn't we?
Aye.
With that sort of thing. Probably like, I'd say...
I wouldn't even say fair, but I guess from hearing other people and listening to other people, but I think like what you're going through that, I think you almost need it because...
No, I needed that.
No, but I think everybody, like if you look back, do
you remember going through stress in your first year? Because I do. Just
no much, mate. Honestly, I'd already exposed myself to enough stress at the point when I became a PT. I was more
overthinking ever.
Being brutally honest, no, I knew I could outwork everybody that was there. And I'm not saying that from an ego perspective. I knew for the stress and the strain that I'd put myself through at that point. I'm 27 at this point, remember? So I've lived in another country. I've managed to go from being on the call centre calls all the way up. My first ever job was up at 2 a.m. to 6, delivering milk bottles for 11 quid a week, right? It was fucking, you're paid 50 pence a shift. And this is as if I'm born in the 1960s. This was 2008, 2009. I'd then go to school and then I'd start getting tips, and I'm like, oh man, you get more tips if you're nice. So like James says, like before you know it, like these delivery jobs and that, you're like, fucking
making bank, mate.
I was making like
$4,000 a month.
I made good money bartending.
That's what I mean. You start going like £200, and then to me that fed into like being driven with money, and then that took me so far in my career. Then I was like, it's not about money. Is that I actually need a wee bit more? Like it sounds like similar to James's journey. Is like there's no purpose. It's like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, what do I want? Feelings like actually true. I really like leading people, but I couldn't be arsed doing it here. There's even one point I was like, why don't I go into the corporate sector in the fitness space? Run a David Lloyd's, run a whatever it is, a sports centre.
They all sound like fucking terrible jobs.
30 grand a year, mate. It's not even a lot of money.
For what you would have, for what you'd have to do, 6 a.m, starting and all that.
The hours and all that don't really bother me, but when you look at like what you're paid for what you do, like a senior manager in the corporate space, you're upwards of 50k, with bonuses, company car, and it is a cushy life. But when you reach out, it's like, and you're looking about, and especially when you're a young guy, and you're like, man, they've been doing that for 30 years. This is not that it's miserable. It's just like
it'd be miserable for me. It'd be miserable for me.
If I'm being honest, I think I seen the mistakes my dad made and done the opposite. That's the way you went the complete opposite. Yeah, and everything, and also everything my dad tried to get me to do, I'd done the opposite. Because he still to this day hates his job, and he's 57.
Yeah,
and he's hated every single job he's ever had.
That's fucking shite.
So the common thing across three of us here, I guess, when you think about it, is when you're at the crossroads of doing something, picking a career, picking something that you're like, you know what, I really want to do this. You've tapped into a bit of a purpose. And that to me, regardless of how successful you are in your first year, you're going to continue doing that because you're going to make it work. Doesn't matter how difficult, how stressed it is, you will double down and make it work. And like I say, I know I'm an anomaly coming into that late.
I genuinely think I am as well. The skills I had 100,000. I shouldn't have, but I had 100,000 TikTok followers in about 4 months. Yeah. But that's because I had the skill of. It didn't take me any time to adjust to filming myself. If I went back and watched my old videos, I'd cringe so much. But I'd already talked to the camera. For like 2 or 3 years, If I watched them again. No, but even those ones, when it's not my first talking video, but my first talking video about fitness, I would even cringe because what I'm saying I probably don't agree with and all that. But it took me no embarrassment to get over to do that.
I've had to learn every single skill on the planet.
That took me no embarrassment. No embarrassment of posting it either. I never went, oh, what are people going to think of this? I didn't have to go over any of those things.
I don't think I've been embarrassed either for having to go back to where I went to. And having to go to the job centre, and I'm not saying that's embarrassing, but if you have to go through that and go through the kind of times, but and you find talking to a camera embarrassing, then you got to reevaluate what you've been through and go, right, I've done that, I've lost everything and I can't talk in front of a camera.
Yeah.
Come on.
So you shouldn't have to go through that. I think that's really the thing, and this is why mentorships exist, because it's like, right, if you don't really know the foundations, we'll give you the path that we can lead you down, and it's hard because some are okay, some are better than others, some are just try to take your money at the end of the day. But
I feel like
all
the most thing you're paying for and those sort of things is just the access to accountability from.
I was going to say motivation.
Like,
keep going.
There's very little of these things that I've heard from someone that I haven't heard on a YouTube video.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Oh, aye,
like it's everything you can pay to learn is all there, but what you're paying for, and it's worth it if you use it in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like the access to accountability. Sometimes they're far too overpriced for that exact thing. But it's the same with, like, if you didn't believe in any sort of business mentor, and then you would say you don't believe in coaches.
I know, no.
People can learn what.
I was about to say that.
People can.
It's the exact same. It's the same model. Anyone can, if they want to lose weight, every coach will have their style. Every coach will have every mentorship will have their different way of communicating that to you. What they decide to charge, I guess, is up to them. But some PTs are charging 40 quid a month for their online coaching. Some others are charging upwards of $1,000. It's like, right, what's the disparity there? And it's experience at the end of the day. It's the
people. Oh yeah, I was supposed to rest people charging 40 quid a month for one-on-one into it because they really have just started.
You're just like, I just need your reps in, and I think that's a good strategy. You should train people for free.
Let's go through strategies then. I maybe want to make this a helpful podcast for PTs starting as well, because this is the start of the mentorship.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. No.
What's the name?
Mummy issues.
I forgot it's all free, guys, mate. Thank fuck you can't just say James Mckinney with mummy issues.
Don't need no mum.
The Motherless podcast.
Aye. Fuck, that's a belter.
No, what did I just say there?
Helping out PTs, some strategies to start with. So
I want it to be for like PTs that are just starting.
Don't sleep with your clients.
That's a good start.
No, that's a fucking fantastic
start. Most people will. In fact, no, there's a lot of slimy
we
bastards.
just we done a podcast recently about how to get your partner involved, and one of the main reasons partners into fitness, like if you're in your health and fitness journey and their partner isn't, it's the biggest frustration to get people in your life, like your dad or even a family member, friend, whatever.
Was Gillian into the gym ever, or did you get her into the gym?
I got her in. She was doing classes, and then I was like, right, she lift weights, and then
here's the thing, right? So do you think you could have got her into lifting if she didn't already go to classes?
Yeah. She would have had to. No, I'm not saying that from a dickish point. Me and Gillian.
No, I just love that.
Me and Gillian wouldn't be together.
I agree, like,
to this day, because my passion is fitness and health, and my partner that I'm choosing for life doesn't need to be in it. She's not a PT, by the way. Like, she could help with a couple of, I guess, questions and give a pretty good answer just being with me for 11 years, but she can't coach anyone. I don't need her to be in that, but she needs to have an interest in her own health and fitness, and that's why she supports me with this. So I couldn't be with anyone else.
Me and my ex did butt heads quite a lot because she didn't want to do anything active. So and it was something that was constantly.
So this was the point of us doing that podcast, because there's ways of going about it. You can't go, right, we're not having a Chinese tonight. Like, it's like you have to it's almost like the leadership thing. You need to pull people into it. You don't want to push them into the health and fitness. It's like, right, start with something fun. Start with something. What can they do with you? Or why don't you just do a walk and just talk about your life, connect, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, but what was the? So back to actual strategies of getting when you're starting out and all that sort of stuff.
Misogynist.
Yeah, no sleeping with your clients is a big thing, but you're saying that this isn't going to happen to clients, which ties into that point. But when you're changing people's lives and you're getting them in great shape, they see you as a fucking. They're like, oh my God, thank you so much for this.
Now you're like God.
Yeah.
Knowing that, but we were saying we were trying to understand why is this happening, and it was like because their partner isn't showing any interest in health and fitness to start with. So when they do change and they've got more energy, their hair's better, they look better, their skin's better, they're making better food choices, they're not getting compliments for that. but one person in the gym gives him a compliment and there's an attraction, there's more of an association with that. So we're saying it as a joke, but I said it to you.
No, you did.
I met him.
So
the first time I met you, this was happening.
No, but the first time Dale, the first one of the other times Dale did meet me, it was like, obviously we're going through things. I didn't even know fuck all. And he was like, I was laughing. He's like, you know, one of the hardest things you'll need today is no sleep with your clients. And I was like, ha ha ha, that'll never happen. Honestly, at the time, I didn't think MD would ever be coming for that reason or be super attracted and why go with a PT. I just didn't understand it because as a steel worker, nobody gives a fuck. Nobody gives a fuck if you're a steel worker.
I fully believe that.
No, but do you know what I mean? Nobody goes,
I don't give a fuck.
But like, you go engineer, it's all right. But you see PT, and for some reason there's a level of attraction to a type of individual. Do you know what I mean? Because
you seem like a person that runs your own business, that's in shape and is outgoing. That's the three traits that you would give a PT. Not necessarily everyone is, but that's, you just hear PT and that's what you get told. I got fat shamed off a comedian the other week. Did I tell you about this?
No.
It was
what comedian?
I don't know his name. It was like it was at the Fringe and we went to something before we went to like a good comedian.
Right, okay.
And it was, there was 15 people there and they were all drunk and it was honestly it was terrible.
Worst thing ever.
But he was asking everyone what they were doing and I was like, I'm a PT, and he got up and he was like, come up and he was like, try to get me to take my top off, and I'm like, nah, and then he was doing the held he held my stomach. I'm like, you're fat. And I was like, you're shite. I was like, you're not funny. But anyway, like that you get, that's even without him seeing me or even just looking at what was in front of him, he just heard PT and automatically assumed that I was going to be this guy that was willing to come up and take my top off.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This is a good point for newer PTs, because there is something that you need to get into, but the whole sleeping with your clients and that, there's some fucking PTs that come into it for that reason.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And they ruin the reputation of people like ourselves who are in a way are trying to do good. We've got integrity and all that sort of stuff. And like, I know you're saying that as a joke, but it's not as if you were just, I'm sleeping with my clients and all that.
No,
sort of
I know.
Stuff. You had that, you sparked it off.
But if I was to say any guy like similar to my age, and I know people have been married to their client and that, like, you go to read the room and read what kind of person they are and why they're going for you. Because if you're a younger guy getting into PT, there will be people who will be coming
Same with women, mate.
Oh, no,
in fact, I would say it's even higher with women PTs, because guys are typically fucking weird.
But I think lasses will be able to spot that a lot more. Whereas me as a young guy, right, I'm like coming and I'm really getting into my gym journey again. I'm really feeling good about myself, and then I'm coming and I'm getting this validation. I'm like, this is class. And then I'm like, right, well, will I fucking break the rules here and just go for it? And I did, and I fucked up. Like, it was a fucking terrible decision, and especially when you're starting your journey. Do you know what I mean?
Like, you're almost getting branded with
I'm branded with that name straight away, and I'm not branded with that anymore, because there's a full circle change. Like that guy's know that he's doing this, so I've totally changed the perception. But I could have been branded forever, and I could have really made that mistake that I would have been that guy, and that's a terrible.
You can see the PTs in the gym that are like that, can't you?
Aye.
Reputation. So for me, when you're starting out, reputation's everything. So you had a social following, kind of had built up from whatever you were doing before. And I didn't have a brand, so my first rule going into personal training was getting good at my job and getting people knowing that I'm good at my job. They were the two things to do. And to me, I was like, I want people to go, oh, that's Coach Grosser, he works out at Gym 24, he's probably one of the best PTs in there. That was my goal. And it wasn't a spite to any other PT, it was like, that was more selfish for me, because I knew if it happened the other day, it happened a couple of months ago when I opened this place up, I was getting tarnished that, Dale does drugs, that's how he managed to open my gym. And because of my reputation,
who said that?
PTs in
New Age Fitness
in another gym
said, so you do drugs.
I don't know if it was PTs or people that were in there, but because when you're seen to be, it's almost when you start doing well, people like to bring you down, right? But my reputation's so good at this point.
Where have they got that from?
Don't know. It's just like people. You need to think about.
But to be fair, there is a lot of PTs that have done that.
That's probably. So like, I'm not going to go, oh man, fuck them and all that. I laugh at it, but it's almost like when you get in the shapes like, oh, he does steroids or like whatever. Anyway, so
could you even like see if I had told you to get class A's in like the next day? Could you even do it? Because I like
cocaine.
Could you?
Would I know how to?
I can't see if you went like that. Here, gun to your head, get me cocaine in the next day. I don't think I can. I don't know how to do it.
Nah, I'd go to fucking.
I could get you in the next door.
I'd maybe go to the bar.
I could.
I could maybe go to the bars.
I think I could because I know how.
I'd go straight.
He would come to me, then I'll get him.
I mean, like,
Take him out of the way.
Take
No chance.
Back to that point. I think it's not necessarily about sleeping with your clients or that. It's like everything you do has consequences.
It's a reputation thing.
And brand and reputation is everything for your business. And you need to treat personal training as a business. It's not just, you can go into some gyms and just do your
customer service, isn't it?
Aye, so it's everything. So you need to be good at that branding. And if you're not good at this branding, then that's where the mentorships will play in your insecurity a little bit. But you can get good at it by training people for free. That was my strategy. I was like, right.
Go into that. How did you get these people in for free sessions?
So
because you're out of the three of us, you're probably the best to model a in-person like business.
Yeah, so I filmed my books within 2 months fully, and done it by being on the gym floor constantly. And I was like, I'm just going to keep making videos. And then people are like, oh, he's making videos. Oh, that must be the new PT. Being friendly on the phone, speaking to everyone, not with the intent of trying to get them as a client, just being who I was, showing actual true empathy and interest in their journey. Oh, what is it you're doing? And blah, blah, blah. Trying not to be the guy that steps in people's, oh, you should do this exercise, I know better type of thing. Then I ran a competition and I said, I'm going to train someone for free for life. I says, until we get to your results. So whatever your results are, it's a fucking crazy competition. People are like, what the fuck? What happens if I never hit my goals? Like, well, you'll get free PTing from me. And I said it would be 2 sessions a week until we hit your goals. So I ran that competition, and really I didn't have a social following. I only had 300-400 followers at this point. I got shared about, and I got 122 people that shared it, liked it, and entered it. So I picked one person, and then what I started doing, I was like, right, I've got 121 other people here that has shown interest in a personal training journey. I'm going to start messaging every one of them, say, look, thank you so much for sharing. It means the world to me. Sorry you've not won, but how about a free PT session every week for the next 4 weeks? And then people are like, what's the catch? And I was like, there's no catch. You just be honest with your feedback at the end of that. I started going through the list. I think I messaged 40 people. That was the biggest mistake I should have done, because every single one of them said yes. And some of them I couldn't even do.
Right now, everyone that's struggling on the floor could follow that.
So and this is what it done for me. So you're like, oh, what the so I'm training 5 or 6 people of my own clients at this time. And I'm like, right, I want to be in the gym all the time. So then that fills my week out. 8 sessions a day, Monday to Friday. And I'm like, right, cool, I'm all on the gym floor. That then gets other people going, there's Dale again. So for the whole month of January, I'm on that gym floor PTing people, different people, and people are like, fucking hell, how many clients has he got? Yeah. I'm getting paid fuck all for this, right? But by the end of it, I think I would say maybe about 70% of them converted to continue to work with me. And it got me an influx of other people who were like, I want to work with you. I'm interested, I want to get my fat loss done, blah, blah. And I was taking anyone and everyone at that point, because I wasn't really interested in an actual niche. I think too many people get caught up, and you can't niche down being on the gym floor. You can't go, I only work with people over the age of 40. That's a great model to have, and you need that for your business.
Especially when you're in a random town in North Lanarkshire.
Exactly. You're going to get everyone, and why should you
There isn't enough people between the ages of 40 and 50 in a specific gender that want PT in Wishaw. And
we had somebody on our show that was saying, I wanted to work with young guys and get them in bigger shape. And as much as that was his niche, he ended up taking on more women, and he actually found that he liked helping them more because they listen better and all this sort of stuff.
Exact same as me.
So
I much prefer training women.
I don't think
prefer it. See, when a guy comes to me, I'm vetting him to see what kind of, because a lot more guys are ego driven, especially they'll listen to you less. And a woman, if you tell her everything, she'll listen to everything. Yeah. Most of the time.
I find the guy with clear insecurities is a better client than someone who's successful somewhere. I've not really thought about the way I'm wording this, but I'm literally just blurting out what's in my head. But a guy who's maybe successful in like work or whatever, I find that those ones don't listen to me. Do you get what I mean? I find someone that's actually like hurting a little bit, and in a place where they're really going to listen.
Vulnerable?
Yeah. A vulnerable man will be a better client than a successful man. Mm-hmm. A successful man who maybe needs PTing, but their ego gets in the way so much that they're hard to train.
Quite a lot of the time happens.
I was the same. I thought I was going to train people that came from my background of being overweight and a guy. Maybe I thought I was going to train like maybe 18 to 25-year-old males who were overweight. But I think just roll whatever you put out, whatever it attracts, niche down into that. Because I ended up with like basically the whole of fucking slimming world. Following me.
I wouldn't even say niche down. I would just go with the flow.
Well, that's what I mean. But whatever's working for you, do that.
Lean into it and understand it, and then you almost need to put in the reps. You need time on the gym floor before you make that transition to really grow your business, because there's things that you don't understand that you take on a client, you're like, yep, I can fucking help them, and then you're like, wow, that went completely different to the way I imagined this, and that makes you a better coach. I think people see coaching, and this is what the mentorship sell the dream of. You work from anywhere in the world, you can be financially free and living a lifestyle with a couple of hours a week, and yes, that's great, but there's almost like reps that need to go into that. You need to redefine your product first.
It's not even that, mate. It's a pure fallacy that that's a good life. It's a lonely shit life. I've done it.
Yeah,
like the whole idea, it's great that you can like move to these different countries or whatever, but you're doing that on your own. See, even just working in here, do you know how better my like mental health is, like from working in a gym, even though I don't train people on the floor, but like trying to build a business from your house, working on a laptop, it's horrible. It's not this fucking dream job. It's you lose. I think most people will lose the enjoyment of training people by making online coaching seem like this dream life, because the reality is it's a working from home admin job you're doing.
Aye, but it's also the same. You speak to any rich person, it's like, I want to make 100k, I want to make 100k, and you speak to that person, they're like, doesn't it really change your life, man? It says there's things still hurt. If you're still a lonely person that's insecure, you're still going to be lonely and insecure. So I think people see that it's hard to communicate that to somebody because they're so caught up in the vision.
They need to go through it themselves.
It's hard. So that's probably the best and biggest strategy that fundamentally changed what I'd done. I think your experience almost in a way like James.
I had the worst start to PT ever.
But I think I'm a cause of that, because if you think about it, you were on a gym floor doing well, picking up traction in a public gym, and I got this opportunity to come into a private studio where there's no churn of clients, and there was almost like, yeah, we can get online clients easy, we'll be able to do it. And I struggled with it, and then James also struggled with it because I had established my reputation.
But I think what I look at and go, I hated working in that other gym.
Gym 24?
I hated it.
Why did you hate it?
Because they weren't taking me off shifts, and there was
How could you not have just walked in there and say, I'm not doing that anymore?
But I was on them
private
for that
business, isn't it? It's their college.
I know, but you just leave if they.
Well, that's what I done. So they was obviously saying him, but I was going to leave anyway because I wasn't staying there.
I'm not saying that we would ever.
I would. So see, I wasn't coming in
because I was asked to do classes in my last gym, and I just went, mate, there's not a chance I'm doing any of them. And he asked me every month, you want to do one? And I'd be like, not a chance.
But see, now I'm less a people pleaser. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, right, this is what I'm doing.
This is for me.
This is for me. I know that now. Going back then, it was like, I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to have people. I didn't know how to train people online till the other month there, until I asked you how to do that, and I got a couple of Google Sheets and I had everything. And now I'm getting people online. I'm having a call with them. And I'm going, I know how to get them results. I didn't know how to do that 3 months ago. So there's a lot to learn, and if you learn it quickly, you'll be on the ball. Do you know what I mean? You can actually get it. You can do it quite quickly if you are on the ball, and learn that. In-person coaching, this is the one thing that I would say to him, don't be getting 3 sessions a week for every single month. You know what I mean? You do 2 sessions to start with, and then quickly cut it down to 1, and then push them online. Get that online service sorted, because you're just babying people if you're just going to coach them.
Yeah.
So I took one of the PTs for JID.
They're just your mate that you stand next to in the gym.
Exactly.
After like 3 months with them, and then a 1-to-1, once bi-weekly or once monthly after that. That's probably at the cap. It's very unlikely that you're going to see someone regular on a weekly basis within 3 months that you're going to go, right, we can now learn the fucking, all these nuanced exercises, but at that point it doesn't really make a difference if you know your style of lifting.
Aye.
You know what I mean?
And you go, right, go and train yourself. I like training with you. You're like, fucking hell, man. That's like that. You all have been through it. There's nothing worse when you go, right, you need to train yourself now, and because you waited that long, they're like, nah. I'm not going to train myself, just train me that once a week.
And this is why you'll get tripped up, because if you've not got the experience of knowing how to have
manage
a bit of
people.
banter with people, being how to manage them, lead them, set expectations, communicate, they're all skills that you don't really learn in your PT qualification.
And also it's about keeping it even though you might become mates with them, making sure they know it's a professional.
Yeah.
Like it's still at the same time a professional transaction, not just someone that you become mates with.
Yeah.
I'd probably say I'm on a good friendship level with every single one of my clients.
But they wouldn't.
There's a respect there.
But they wouldn't push your boundaries because they know you would. Like, do you know what I mean?
Nah, like
so am I. Like that client I just trained there.
Yeah,
good.
But that's taken me 2 years to get to that. That's what I mean. You go through it, and for what we were talking about, if you're listening and you're going through that just now, you're like, fuck, that's what I'm doing. And it's hard when you're in that, but you just know, right, okay, set expectations. So this is a good strategy if you're wanting to pivot there. You're putting a message out to all your clients that, look, I'm going to be transitioning away from multiple sessions a week to free up a wee bit more time so I can give a better service remotely. And you kind of position it how you want. So you set expectations. Don't worry, all you guys where you are just now, we'll work out individually what your process looks like. So for some of my clients, I could say to them, right, we're not doing 3 sessions a week now. Next month, we're moving to 2 or 1. Some clients, I'm like, right, I know you're nervous. Let's just pretend nothing's changing and let's just work with it. And each week I would drip feed like, why don't you try go and do, or what do you think of that gym session? That's fucking feel pretty confident. I'm not taking over. I'm letting them run their gym session. And I'm like, so what's the difference you going into a gym and doing this? I probably should do that. So I start breaking down the barriers, and then I
just go like path. That session we just done. Why don't you just repeat that exact one the next time, and I'll put it on this app.
Yeah, I have all the programs that we run through in the app, so then I get them to load it. So they've got the reps in. And that's probably some people as a PT you want to take over at the start. When you become a coach, when I was coaching in the corporate space, you want to take over the computer and fucking fix the problem and what it is, rather than showing them let the client make the mistakes, because then they go, fuck, that wasn't as scary as what I thought it would be. And that just makes you a better coach. And they're like, oh man, I learned something from you.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to do is when I start working with a client, see them fall off their journey. And I don't think you think about that.
I'm really glad of the way I've done everything so far, that I didn't jump into all of these big businesses really quick, which I've seen a lot of people do at the start, when I feel like I've learned how to run I've learned so much more skills that will set me up further in business for longer, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like I'll outlast most people that started the same time as me, because I stayed in the nitty gritty of it.
Mm-hmm. You've actually learned the business practices and the systems.
And the customer service stuff and the client stuff.
Aye, managing people.
One thing is underrated that I never done, but I was prepared to do it, was look at the best PTs in your area, message them and say, look, can I look at what you do? As we started interviewing people, because that's what you're paying for in a mentorship. You're paying for mates. You're paying for mates in your same circle that are doing the same thing.
You must feel like you got a massive benefit from just even coming in here.
Well, this is, man.
And like the podcast.
Oh, big time, mate. Like,
that's been a huge help.
Massive, mate. Massive. That's massive for me.
Well, that's how we met.
That's what I mean. Like,
so big. I can't even explain how.
Like, look at this. If I never had the podcast, none of this would be here.
No.
Like, I'm not saying you. I mean, I wouldn't be in here.
Yeah. But I was going to say that. It's funny because both of us being in your show, if we come back to the last time that we were on your show together, we're just kicking our journey off here. And this is the power of networking. This is what you pay for when it comes to mentoring. You get to meet people. Some people are going to be dickheads and you'll be like, fuck them. We're going to meet people like you kick it off. I knew when we first went for that coffee, the first time you invited us on the podcast, I remember coming to me and saying, James, I only knew James for 2 months at this point as well. Yeah, right. I just have a good I feel I've got a good pulse when I'm like, man, I want to surround myself with these type of people.
Yeah.
And I knew that when I met James. I knew that when I met yourself. And naturally, I don't want anything from you. I wasn't going, I know I'm going to get you working in my fucking studio and giving me rent and blah, 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 blah. That was never the goal. It's like, I'm interested in what you're doing. I like what
you can sense when someone is actually like
genuine.
You know what else? But also like, me and you will be doing some sort of business in the next 5 to 10 years.
Aye.
And we'll still probably be mates and we'll just help each other probably.
Exactly. And learning, like you say, like you pick up these wee things, and that's really the sole benefit of these mentorships, but you can get it without paying the high ticket price, and you get it by just showing interest. And if you're truly passionate about it, look about it. It's like, what is it that they're doing? Try and shadow them for half a day, see if they can get some time, pay for their time, work with them as an actual coach.
So when I had like maybe like 2,000 followers on TikTok, Sean Casey had about 10,000, and then mate, there was hardly anyone doing TikTok. TikTok was very new. There was people still
I
thought,
remember that.
people still thought it was just like mimicking dance, and there was a lot of people doing that. And I was coming on and go, if you want to lose fat, just fucking
sign up to my free plan.
I still doing that. I've got a free plan in my bio. But I went on his live, and I just started. I mean, I think I wrote it. How many followers did you gain from your last video? Because he'd went up like 2,000, and he made like 11 people on the live, and he just basically spoke to me through his live.
That's the beauty of technology.
It was lockdown, and I remember where I was. I was just standing in like a fucking next to the gas flats in View Park. If anyone knows where they are, it's just not very it's very humbling.
Life's at a low point at this point.
I was lockdown, and I was like snow, and I was like on shore, and I couldn't feel my hands, and I was typing, "Go, how many followers do you gain?"
Giggling away at your phone.
And then he like followed me back or whatever. Then, and me and him just used to WhatsApp each other video ideas, and he was like, this worked for me, and then he would make versions of the same sort of video that I would make, and I would never do this now, but at the time no one else was.
You're just bouncing ideas off,
but there was nobody else to learn off TikTok wise. Nobody knew what was happening. Like, it almost felt like a game. See, when you used to I would gain like 10,000 followers on TikTok, and it would feel like a game. It wouldn't feel real, because it was like it was a new app. It was red things that would come through, and it'd just be like, you've gained 100 followers, and I'd be like, this just feels like I'm playing fucking some sort of game. It doesn't feel like real people are in.
Still kind of feels like that though. When you
it does a wee bit, but Instagram, because I used it without it being business, I'd still feel like I'm like looking at my mate's stuff and all that. On about TikTok, felt like a complete game. But like, making mates that are gonna do well is probably, if anything, more beneficial than mentorships, I think. Yeah,
because it's connections and it's networks and it's friends.
Having someone that's constantly going to be doing the same job as you for 5 to 10 years is going to be doing well. You're going to do well as well.
Even just similarities in terms of what you are doing, because as much as you're beginners and you're one of your best mates, it's not as if he's targeting beginners. He's all about food. It's almost like it's a similar path. Doesn't need to be like for like.
Well, if you look at Michael, he was going down the route of like Phil Graham and all that, and then I started a year after him, and I went, because I'm social media background before, I'm doing that. I know that this will, business wise in the long term, following, I know I'm good at talking on camera. And then he started doing it, and I showed him how to do I edited loads of his, like, I showed him how to edit like 4 videos, and then he started doing it. Well, obviously Michael has the personality for it, but like, his path switched when I started doing it. And then me and him talk about videos all the time. He helps me a ridiculous amount now as well, because he's been doing it now for 3 years, so he can give me a lot of feedback on my videos, and he obviously has grew his own following. He's got more followers than me.
We have a very similar relationship, I think, to how me and you are.
Absolutely.
Just we're here,
because I've got one friend called Kellen, I've told you about, that works for the vegan American company. And I've said to him so many times, use me. Like, I'm not being big-headed, but you've no PT friends, and you're like, you've not got clients or whatever. But Alex asked him to come down here, and he probably will come in. And
he absolutely should. I'm
like, just come in and just start talking to us. You will pick stuff up without us even preaching anything to you. Like, I will not preach one thing to you.
No.
But just be near me, and be near, like, get yourself near 5 people doing quite well, and you will do well, mate.
Yeah. We should do a separate podcast on. We actually might get you on for this, because it'd be a good topic to talk about social media presence and what your thoughts are around that, because there's such a rabbit hole, but everybody gets caught up. Then you need to have more followers. I've just hit 1,800 followers, and I've been doing this for 2 years, and I've got a very successful business. So it's not all about followers, and there's ways about it, but I see that's probably the one downside that I see happening to new PTs from starting. We get caught on it at the start.
Yeah.
And
that's why
you get overwhelmed with it. And
Sunday I was like, what do I actually want to post every single day? No, just randomly.
What's going to go viral? Aye.
No, what's going to go viral? I'll say, what can I help people? What am I fucking amazing at talking about? Right. That's all I'm going to do. If it goes viral, it goes viral. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm still going to look at the analytics.
and refine the process.
Well, I've
Still
been
gonna
probably pretty well versed in this because I fell in the trap a few times.
That's what I mean. I think
You will be,
we'll
so we
do a
can
deep
go
dive
into
on our
aye.
podcast with that for sure.
Because
What would you say to new PTs then? Because that's probably why a lot of, in all honesty, have followed you as well. So I'm like, oh, who's this Gavin guy? Oh, fuck, he's got a good following. Oh, Ben shared him. Oh, it's almost like we want that fame, but it's like, do you? What do you actually? You said it.
Well,
I
I keep saying this to Michael. He's like, I'm gaining. He's like, I've started gaining more followers again, but I don't get excited by it anymore. Like I really don't. I'm like, I've gained 2,000 the last 2 months, or a month or two again, but I'm not excited by it at all because I know it honestly doesn't mean it, and I've not really got my ego attached to it. I've got see, when I say dopamine and ego, I mean two different things. Me seeing likes and stuff coming up isn't feeding my ego, it's feeding the same reason I'm looking at old football tops.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
I get that.
It's not.
It's entertainment. It's the game.
Yeah, it would have been an ego thing at the start, but genuinely, like, it just doesn't do anything for me. But now I've seen like 2,000 new followers coming in, and I keep making videos rather to gain more followers to like nurture those 2,000 that are following me to help them. And then next time I take an influx of clients in, I'll get more clients again. Yeah. And I used to just keep going, I'll just keep building a following, and then I'll have loads, or I would gain followers and my money would stay the same. But people might go, oh, why do you need more money? I wasn't making enough to even put money away. Whereas,
but there's nothing wrong with wanting to make more money either. But you ask yourself.
No, but I'm running a business.
Exactly, in the business.
And I'd have to reiterate, I do still stay in my dad. So
yeah.
I do drive a Ford Fiesta. So
we'll put an injection of another $5,000 into your business. Yes, there might be more football tops that you buy, but ultimately your service gets better as well.
Gained about 14,000 followers in about March this year. And then January and February, and I was posting every day. The videos I was making were specifically for me. I was researching everything, so I've got a notes thing that would show all my hooks that were doing well, and then my content was all made around the algorithm, not about what was going to help people, and it works. It definitely works. See, if I kept doing that, see what Tony's doing right now. That's what he's doing. But I basically
you're playing to it.
So I was doing that as well, maybe swearing a bit more, but now I'm coming at it just like talk to the camera, and I don't watch anyone else's videos. I don't watch anything that's trending. All my videos come now are either something I'm experiencing or something my clients experience, and like my advice to the client or my advice to myself. And that's it. Don't give a fuck about anything to do with what trending topics are in.
Do you not think though, like for that, you're at a point now where you've got a lot of creativity,
of
experience?
I wouldn't have been able to do that in the first year,
because I think that sometimes, and then you're like, oh, actually, you're trying to think an idea for a video, and I was like, my head is drawn a blank. So there is inspiration, but I think there's copying as well, which you can go down the fucking rabbit hole. And that's
even with you, I've been doing videos for 3 years, so I now have like 50 topics I don't even need to think about. I can literally just like remake them in a different way.
We've mapped out the next 100 episodes, but at the start, it's like what do we talk about and all this sort of stuff. But see, you mentioned Tony, this is where I think that'll fuck with his head more, because he was at that event. We didn't meet him, but he was a different guy at that event than what he is in these videos. So then somebody meets you and you're like, you're not the guy. So people want to work with you. And if you're the guy who you're doing the algorithms with, they're like, mate, who are you? My
clients would always say, like, they would always write on my videos, he's actually a down-to-earth guy. He's so much nicer than those videos.
But would you not rather that your reputation as well?
But I don't think people thought I was a dick. I was trying to grab people's attention straight away.
50% higher.
I didn't. None of my opinions were like that dickish. I done the odd thing that I would definitely never do now. Like fucking, I don't give a fuck about slagging burpees and shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, but
we do.
Those videos get views. But the problem also as well is I can't really do a good burpee.
That's true.
But there's views and there's good views and bad views. Do you know what I mean? You'll get these fucking dicks following you and they'll be like, I want to get a 6-pack. And you're like, well, I'm no geek. That's not me.
And I definitely find my following now, I don't know if I could say this, but I think the IQ of my following is way higher than what it was 2 years ago. Because I'm talking about
intelligent people following.
I'm talking about deeper things. where you need to be understand yourself a bit more, and that more sort of
who are you?
Yeah,
but also that's where you build a loyal following. So if you do run an offer on something, people are going genuinely interested in that. Although it's not necessarily about making more money, but that really should be the goal of social media, to monetize in a way or get your message out in a way, and they can be closely correlated.
I really think all these people that are doing communities won't be at it in another 3 or 4 years time, because a lot of them even I still feel like I have loads to learn as a coach.
I don't think you're ever winning.
Because that's why I'm doing your program just now. That's why I might do some sort of, I think I might buy Sonny Webster's mobility thing. Just to do something.
It's meant to be shit hot.
Just to do it, yeah, exactly.
It's meant to be shit
and I'm going to buy Ben Carpenter's book, read that again, and just get into learning a bit more, because I know I've got the eagerness to still learn more than any of these people that are doing communities. I think there's the thing I always remember when I first started, all of these fitness girls that I used to follow, they used to post these videos where it would be just say their full workout, and then it'd be 6 or 7 videos, and it'd be a carousel, and they would bang at the time. I remember being a year into TikTok and they were still posting those videos and they were dying on their arse. And I'm like, this short form shit is going to die in its arse in a year or two, and you're going to have skills that can transfer over. So you have to know your shit to be able to.
You have to know what you're talking about.
To be able to present it in a different way. That's why I was doing podcasting and short form, or I also write quite a lot, emails and tweets and shit. If you only know how to make a 30-second algorithm video, if you can't go in depth about a topic for 2 minutes, you're going to be fucked when this all changes away from short form, which is already doing. Short form is more going to medium form. So these 30-second videos are now changing to 2 and 3 minute videos, and that's what they're going to push. And if you can't present a topic for really and calm yourself down, not be shouting at the camera, because people aren't going to want to listen to you shouting at the camera for 3 minutes, then you're fucked. So I think this whole fast growth shit as well, it's not worth it. It's also not good for you in any way.
Nah, I used to feel shite using to try to pump out the videos that I used to try and put out. Do you know what I mean? They would be funny and but then I'd go, right, I actually need to make a video that hangs with the algorithm, and I'd go, I don't like this. Do you know what I mean? I hate this.
It's so pointless, because even though you're portraying what people want to hear, but that's not what they need to hear anyway. So you're telling them a message that isn't even your message to show them.
Aye.
Further education is definitely the last point I would say for new PTs. Yes, you need to get exposure and experience, but you should always be growing and learning. And I think you can get that from books, from podcasts, from whatever it is. That's probably where mentorships can come into play. If you find that you're in a group of people and they're all saying good things about a mentorship, then fuck it, make your own decision up, go to them. I've been to 6 or 7 of them now, and I'm at the point I'm like, nobody can tell me how to run my business. I've got my own network, and almost you guys and Brian and some of these other people, I'm like, that's my mentorship now. These are my people that they're going to help me more than me paying £5,000-10,000.
That's exactly my thinking. I'll speak to you. Obviously speak to Brian as well. Speak to a couple other people, and I'll be like, that's what my mentorship is. I'll take things away, but at the end of the day,
that was my point.
I know
about mentorships. It's
pals,
build access to accountability.
Just build genuine pals, and you'll learn. You go, fuck man, you'll sit and have a conversation way more about business because you're just pals and you love it anyway, and then you'll take it away. But I do think it's probably quite hard to find pals. Do you know what I mean?
And I don't know if you'll find that many of them in actual gyms.
No, you won't, mate.
I liked quite a few people in the gym I went to, but I've not stayed in contact with anyone.
No,
not like I cut them off or anything. Just I haven't.
I speak to one person for Gym 24 still, and that's it.
There's 1 or 2 of them that I would met. Steven's doing really well. He's got his own wee gym now, doing 1 to 2 or 3. I mean, he's the only one that was actually had the same mindset of me as go for it. I was like, see, if anyone told me you're going to fail at this, I'd just be like, no, I'm not.
Cool.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You need to have that undeniable mindset.
I'd just be like, I won't. Even if I don't make any money for 3 years. I was prepared to not make anything for a year.
Yeah.
Same.
I had like 8 grand, and I was prepared to just live in my dad's and try build a business.
I had more at risk. I had a mortgage. We were getting married in a year. In fact, we were getting married in 3 months, so we had big bills to pay. And I was like, and this is the important to having a really strong partner if you're in a relationship as well. So I had to sit down and say, like, I really hate what I'm doing. I think I want to do PTing. And I knew I'm with the right person, like, because she knew how passionate I was about health and fitness. She wasn't interested in that. She's like, oh, but this job pays really well in that. She was like, I believe in you, and I know you can do it. Like, if I had people around me going, nah, I can't do that, and I did, people that I was working with, they were like, run your own business. No, that's too stressful and all that. And I'm like, oh, maybe they're right. But no, I had to have a good mindset to fucking get after it.
My last thing I'll say on that is it's more stressful for me to do a 9 to 5 in a call centre than run my own business.
I don't think we could. The 3 of us could never go back to that.
No, I'd hate it.
I couldn't do it in the first place.
Yeah, we better volunteering at some fucking company and just see how much shit goes to shit.
Gavin, you have to hit this KPI today. I'll fucking stab you. That's what I'll do.
I genuinely don't know.
Fuck that.
I can't do it.
I'm glad you got a good one behind you. Yeah, that's great.
Aye.
Great.
That's the next thing for you in life, mate. Don't worry. You've got a good man behind you, me.
Aye.
Right,
that sounded fucking
we'll end that
weird.
there.
Aye, that was a banger.